Thursday night, big dance basketball from Lexington's Rupp Arena, 6:20 p.m. Pacific. We got Mizzou taking on Colorado State. This is a free pick from Ken Thomson. And, you know, both teams struggled a bit down the stretch, Ken. You had Missouri losing 4 out of 9 straight up. You had Colorado State splitting their final 8 games. And the big news on Colorado State right now is that Dorian Green, their strong point guard, is likely to play in this one with the ankle injury. Missed a lot of time in the Mountain West Conference tourney. Gave it a go against UNLV. Couldn't really make it happen. What I wanted to ask you as we kick this one off, though, we've seen all season long the Mountain West Conference, by the ranking systems, getting a lot of love all over the place. You hear it on ESPN.com. Everywhere you look, Mountain West was either 1 or 2. Are you buying it, or are they overhyped?
They are overhyped, and I mean, that's why in the play-in game, you know, just on my own personal, I'm going to go against Boise State. And I like Boise State. I like Marks. Sure. I like the team. I think they're a team that does play good team concept. Leon Rice has done a nice job there. But I really do think they are overrated. And UNLV is another team we've talked about that, you know, is inconsistent. Great on paper, but they've lost some games that they. How do you lose twice to Fresno if you're, you know, if the conference is that strong? They got away with it because of New Mexico's elevated play, who also lost at home to South Dakota State. But that's another tourney team, so they get away with that. But I think this is going to be a darn good game, and I love what Iverson's done over there, and I'm impressed with what Haith has done over there at Missouri. I thought he would struggle. Yeah, and I tell you what, if he would have struggled any more than he did, I mean, I know they had their problems holding leads away from home. This guy was that close to being on a serious hot seat after what came out about what he did at Miami and what happened when he was at Miami. Marco, Colorado State's main advantage over a lot of teams when they match up is, of course, their rebounding. One of the best in the country. In fact, the only time they were out-rebounded all year was in the matchup at the Thomas and Mack a month ago against UNLV. But having said that, Mizzou is just as tough on the glass. It's going to be tough for Colorado State to find some advantages against this ultra-athletic Missouri Tiger team. I agree with you. And the one thing that I'm going to look at, though, my concern with Missouri is, and you mentioned it, they're like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde away from home. Now, granted, this isn't, you know, not a true road game because it's a neutral court, but they've put in some clunkers on the road this year. Colorado State with that rebounding edge, and actually they did get out-rebounded twice this year. The other game was by 1. Yeah, that's true. They only got dominated once this year. But Missouri's not going to get a lot of second shots off of them. And going into the Mountain West Conference, and we talked, Ken, right before we went on the air about the injury to the Colorado State player. You know, the coach for Colorado State going in, he made it known that the Mountain West Conference tournament wasn't his goal. You know, he was looking forward, more pointing to this. So why play a guy that's got a bum ankle, you know, that wasn't 100%, and risk him for the big dance? And that could come back to bite him. But I think Colorado State is a team right now that, even though the conference may be a little bit hyped up, overrated, I think Colorado State's flying under the radar right now because of that 4-4 record. The 4 teams that they did lose to down the stretch were the 4 best teams in the conference. Sure. So I think we're getting a little bit of a benefit with the line here. But this is a toss-up game. I got the slightest of leans to Colorado. Maybe a little bit of personal revenge for Larry Eustace here after what happened to him when he was at Iowa State. But I'll tell you what, Phil Pressey, Ken, you know, he's been a little erratic at times. What I'm really looking forward to is seeing Keon Bell as the on-ball defender going up against possibly Green if he's healthy enough to play an entire game. This one's your free pick. Let's get to it. Okay. All right, countdown. Yeah. Yep. All right, my free pick is going to be Missouri minus the 3 points. The reason I like Missouri, number one, a lot of those guys are back from last year. They were snake-bitten in the first-round loss to North Carolina State. Second of all, Dorian Green's ankle, it's not 100%. In fact, he'll be lucky if it's 60 or 70%. He did try to give it a go against UNLV, and Coach Eustace bought into it. Hey, maybe this ankle's pretty good. Let's see how he feels tomorrow after playing 30 minutes in this game. It came back to haunt him as he went down in the second half, never came back, and they struggled big time. Why? Because they facilitate everything through Dorian Green. So without him, you saw Eichmeyer try and force up shots. They basically only had one answer, and that was Colton Iverson down low. They had no other alternative. In fact, Horning didn't even play much of the second half either. Why? Because, again, he goes through Dorian Green. They play well as a team, those 5 seniors. For Missouri, on the other hand, sure, it's a lot of transfers. The only constant has been Pressey, but he's a guy, sure, he's blown some games down the stretch. Yes, they've lost road games, but they've been in every single one of those road games. They've lost 3 games games by 2 points, one by 3, one in overtime to Kentucky. This team, they will be in the game, and Phil Pressey will use his speed, and Missouri will use their team speed to collectively get Iverson out of position, and they will get second shot opportunities. So I think Missouri, their quicks, their athleticism, and their continuity, because again, you're talking a lot of transfers, Keon Bell, Oriaki, Brown, and now Pressey's got them all meshed together, and I really think that Pressey's learned from his mistakes down the stretch. So if it is a close game, he'll take his time and not force things, and I think Mizzou -3 is a solid bet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I like Bell, by the way, if he does. I think he can make Dorian Green's injury even worse than it actually is. So if he's only going 60 or 70%, he's got to match up against Bell head-to-head. Bell, I don't like to say it, picking on a guy's injury, but he can break a few ankles when he's out there, and that's the situation for Green in this one. So anyway, Ken's going to say, or he does say, take Missouri minus the points over Colorado State on Thursday. That's going to do it for our group. Don't forget, we've got the other group talking college basketball for Friday, all coming up. More of that on pregame.com's homepage. That'll be Steve Fezzik. You got VR. And who? Brian Leonard. Brian Leonard's back. So stick around for that.